Hello everyone, welcome back once again to Edgington, the city on the edge. Let's just hide up those designations there. Yay. And it is dawn of day 52, which means this is my longest running game of Timber and Stone in general, actually, by a fairly substantial margin. Who's this asleep over here? Huh? It's one of our guards. Oh, it's Haku. Okay. You are usually scheduled to sleep elsewhere from here, but it's fine. It's fine. There are currently no enemies on the map. Well, there's 3 skeletons who are subterranean, 2 of which are over here, 1's over here. Not terribly much going on. I think it was last night. It's been a little bit of time since then, and my memory's terrible to begin with anyways, that we had we did have a necromancer come in, and now that skeleton's just sort of stuck there for the foreseeable future, most likely. But just got taken down by the trolls. So good, functioning as intended. Oop, and there's Saul brutally murdering a wild animal. Oh dear. Yeah. Huh. But things are going along nicely. The new western road is completely dug out, so we are just working on getting all of the brick free to actually complete it, and hopefully we can get together some iron heater shields as well, because we apparently are missing out on those somehow. I'm not terribly certain how we've managed that, but we have. Let's add that to the list. Anything else? No, not terribly much. We could make some copper, or some, well, we could make some bronze, but that's not a big concern. Steel is what we're after, because we want to get more armor pieces together, and that currently just requires that our fellows do a whole ton of digging. So if we take a look, they have a huge long road to go here, and also done some work laying out some building work to try and fix up some of the holes in the mainland here. Hopefully that won't be a problem very much. Oh hey, they've got an alternative access route now. Level 15 Builder Samara, yay. Good for you. Although there's a lot of dirt to put in, so I'm gonna guess that you're gonna get a fairly large volume of just low grade experience building there. Meanwhile, actually, how is... No progress on this apparently. Oh, and Presender's level up as a tailor as well. Good. Ha! So, I usually have something to talk about with these particular episodes, and I figured I would take advantage of that, of Edgington's status sort of as my, as sort of my ventilation, where I will find a random subject and yammer on about it for a bit. I thought I would take advantage of that to talk about something which I've recently been contemplating that is not very easy for me to talk about. Nothing terribly bad, just something that's quite personal, and that has been making me rather considerably uncomfortable every time any of my friends tries to make me broach it, so I figured maybe I can address it in a manner and venue in which I feel comfortable talking about all manner of things. Edgington fits the bill in that regards. Yeah, something I have trouble when talking about with friends. I'm going to say to just over 4,300 people. Well, that's gonna be fun. But anyways, the topic today is gender presentation, because I recently reclassified myself as not being heterosexual. I now classify myself, or at least currently classify myself, as questioning, which is to say, I used to believe I was 100% straight, and now that measurement has gone down a fair bit, and I'm significantly less certain. I'm not certain what I classify as in that regards, but it evidently is sufficiently far from heterosexual now for me to say I'm not straight. With regards to gender, though, it's a bit weirder, because I'm absolutely certain, absolutely, without a singular doubt, certain that I am male, that I'm a guy, that I'm a dude. But here's where the presentation part comes in. You see, you have sexuality, which is who you are attracted to, who you want to sleep with, who you like to kiss or just cuddle, or all manner of other degrees of romance level, hang out with. You have gender, your gender identity to be exact, which is the thing that determines your pronouns, the thing that determines how you feel personally about yourself, your own, like your sense of self. And if that's not aligned properly with your perception or with your expression, then you get what's called dysphoria, where things get uncomfortable and weird and whatnot. And I've, to the best of my knowledge, never experienced dysphoria. So, near as I can tell, and this is sort of, I guess, a thing that people pick up and learn about themselves over time, so who knows, if my estimation might change down the road. I've never experienced dysphoria, so to the best of my knowledge, therefore, I'm a dude, and I'm quite happy about that. Which is not to say that being not a dude or something else entirely is wrong or anything, just I am personally happy being a dude. So presentation is sort of the interface between your internal gender identity and your outward appearance and such. It's the things that you wear, it's the makeup that you put on, it's how you stand, your body language, how you speak, your tonality, all of these different things. A fair bit of gender presentation goes into, goes into the various changes and adjustments that people who are transitioning go through, but they don't have to be nearly so dramatic in some cases. So for a lot of people, they are trans, in which case they are not they don't identify as the gender identity that they were assigned at birth, which can be male to female, can be female to male, can be either of those to something else. It doesn't have to be in the binary. But for a lot of people, it can just be how much their gender identity informs their style of dress, or their speech and mannerisms and whatnot. Now, in my case, I tend to believe that I am pretty damn masculine. I'm not gonna say manly, but I'm pretty damn masculine in terms of my body language and my speech and whatnot. And others might disagree. Personally, this is just my opinion. This is how I think of things. And to date, my fashion, my clothing, whatnot, has been also pretty masculine. And here's the thing. This is where it gets weird. Or starts to, at least. I don't really like that. I don't like how uniform, how bland all of this, like, fashion has been for me. I would prefer a world that's more like a Final Fantasy game, honestly, where anyone can wear a wide variety of things. No one comments on it for a second, for the most part. Unless you're Cloud in Final Fantasy VII in a certain side quest. And it's all complex things. It's not t-shirts and trousers and jackets and hoodies and all sorts. It's substantially more complex things, usually with a large number of belts, although that's not my personal preference. How are we doing on the ore there? Ooh, we've got a bunch more iron. Good. Let's add that. And while we're there, let's try and convert some steel. It should go to the heater shield first, so yeah. Now, where it starts... Sorry, I should explain a little bit more there. I would like to wear more types of clothing. Is the simplest way I can put this. I would like to wear skirts and dresses and stockings and, like, a whole number of other things. But firstly, I do not live in the most progressive of locations, and I would probably get my buttocks handed to me on the regular, in both the metaphorical and possibly even the literal sense, if I was to set foot outside of this building in, say, for example, the maid outfit, which is probably a degree of responsible for why I'm particularly interested in this kind of line of thinking right now. Because it was sort of my gateway drug, if you will. It was the first opportunity I'd had to dress outside of that standard archetype. Which is not to say that my concerns about the blandness of my wardrobe began purely with the maid outfit for maid lying. But just, like, it was the first opportunity I had to be in a situation where no one cared that I was a dude in a maid outfit. Or at least no one cared about the dude part. It was just the, oh hey, it's lying in a maid outfit, which was less of a concern for me. But beyond... oh, we have a merchant. Well, it's got to come from up here, presumably. Yeah, there it is. So, firstly, I'm in this position where I'm definitely, absolutely certain that I'm a dude. And then I'm in this other position where I want to wear clothing which traditionally is more feminine. Or otherwise. Not to get into the regular massive complaints I have with actually going clothes shopping. But now I have an additional problem. Because I have specific tastes. And, for example, in line with my masculinity, I like my facial hair. You can't see it right now because I regularly have to shave it off to play the maid, but I like to have a mustache and a beard of some description. I like the way that looks on me. But, at least in all of the examples that I have as yet seen to date, and I can't think of one that would work well for me either, dresses and facial hair, to me, don't go well together. And I don't know if that's because one is classically feminine and the other is classically masculine. I don't know if that's just the way I've been raised or something. I wouldn't say that my childhood was especially homophobic or something. Or transphobic, I guess would be more precise here. But to me, that doesn't work. So I want to have facial hair and I want to wear dresses, but I can't do them both at the same time. There's a problem there. I would like to wear tights and all sorts of other, like, interesting leg coverings, but shaving my legs is a similar necessity in that regard, and I just cannot keep up with the maintenance of that. And I've had my legs waxed before, and I gotta say, I liked the result. I did not like the process. Would not do that on a regular. And I have some very wonderful supportive friends who were like chomping at the bit, I think is the phrase, to help address these issues I have. But the ultimate thing for me is that I'd like to explore these things, but there's too many paradoxes and contradictions to actually do so properly, I think. So I'm just sort of stuck wanting to explore, but I have no vessel with which to do it. You happy, Sam? I'm talking about it. Calling out Tumblr user Sassy Tail. Storage cap reached. Build more building cards. Where actually are my builders? Come to think of it, because I see one over here. I presume you're installing dirt. Okay, storage. Want a builder's cart. There is not one the least bit along here, so let's try and get a couple placed. Save you the trouble of wandering all the way back. Okay. Are there any... do I have to mark that as... yeah, remove the stump. Probably need to get rid of a fair few around here as well. Oh, and that's a builder's card that I need to get rid of, but we're currently stuffed. So I'll have to wait a bit. It's fine. How are we doing on the digging? Not bad. Not bad at all. I can even see some more iron in there. So what I'm probably going to do is shift along here to the other side of the road and then just repeat this pattern going along, so we grab more and more and more stuff. Alternatively, what I could just do is have them dig out a bunch this way, but that's not quite as clean and tidy, I think. Hell. But yeah, like, it's, certainly my characters, especially the witch, is substantially less masculine defined than I am, or at least consider myself to be. Oh, we finally have a trade. Will give us 4 cotton seeds, so which we have 44 for some cloth. Sure, give Resender a day off. And this has led to... crap switchy. This has led to the witch being frequently drawn in fashions which are less masculine than I typically wear. And I like how a lot of these look. I don't necessarily think I would look identically wonderful in them, but I like the way that people draw the witch in these less masculine, more feminine kind of styles. And I would like to take advantage of those styles myself. I just don't think that I have either the figure or the the comfort to do it. Because here's where we get into another problem, which is that, and I guess this is where I can affirm my masculinity again, which is that the maid outfit, as an example, is tailored for someone with breasts, which I do not have. So I don't fill out that maid outfit very well. I wear it quite well, I would say. I certainly think it looks good on me, especially when I've shaved, but I don't fill it out, which means it's not really being worn properly. So here's where we get to, probably for a few of my friends, especially my some of my friends who are trans themselves, have the weirdest parts here, which is they have commented that I bemoan my lack of bust way too often for a straight cis dude. The first part of that, of course, no longer applying quite as well. But here's the thing: I would like to have a bust in order to expand my wardrobe and be able to wear these things and not have it be as odd, in order to wear these things better, in order to look more in place, I guess, to pass better, I guess, is the phrase here. But I would not want to have breasts because that doesn't fit with my gender presentation. That doesn't, that would give me dysphoria if I had breasts, I feel. And there is the option of wearing prosthetics to give the form without having the actual physical elements, I guess. My brain's kind of grasping at straws for definitions and terminology here, so forgive me if I'm a little bit off kilter on that regard. As I say, I'm deliberately doing this so I can address a subject that I have trouble talking about. Because now I'm just talking to a camera, it works, apparently. I'm good at that, apparently. Are we good with the building cart now? I hope so. Yes, looks like we are. 633 of 800. So, for example, to fill out the maid outfit, to give the illusion, if not the actuality, of breasts, there are what are affectionately referred to as something cutlets. I forget what the actual animal is, but they're cutlets basically, and they're just basically breast forms. They're shaped like the rough shape of breasts, and you place them under your clothing so that they give a different body shape. And it's used all the time inside of cinema and such. Although in a lot of those instances, I question why you wouldn't just hire someone with breasts. But Hollywood's issues with hiring people who more accurately match the characters they are being hired to portray is a whole lengthy other subject. But again, wearing those cutlets, wearing those breast forms, having that body shape is appealing to me for the capacity to wear things, but is extremely uncomfortable to me in the terms of actually doing it. because it doesn't fit me. Or at least what I understand to be me at this point in my life. That might change over time. Very few things in the human brain are a perfect stasis. It is entirely plausible that someone will rethink their gender, rethink their sexuality especially, actually, decades down the line. I thought for nearly 3 decades that I was straight. Look what happened to that. And there are people who... There are legendary tales of people coming out and saying, oh hey, I'm gay, when they're in their 40s, their 50s, they're married, they have children, that kind of thing. Which also relates to society's developing view of that and how it just was not safe to not be straight for the longest time. And oh hey, it's midday, so I guess I'll wrap up really quickly here. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about this next time. Maybe I'll talk more in the comments. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But yeah, I wanted to sit down and force myself to think about this out loud, to align my thoughts into sentences and such. And hey, now I can force some of my friends to actually watch my damn videos so I can hear about this. But that has been me and my weird wonky gender presentation issues. Hope you've enjoyed. Maybe it's given you some things to think about. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And this has been Edgington, and that's your ritual.